so I'm going to pass this over to Chiara, who's going to talk a little bit about the guild and how the guild works together before we start to kind of head towards the end here. So if you have any of those questions, make sure you're sticking them in the chat now.
Yeah, so I just wanted kind of building on all of this and about how, what Christy said is our strength is uh, in the group that we have is just really to emphasize that we are breaking new ground here. This is how unions used to start before the National Labor Relations Board, before you could call for a union vote and have a government agency come in and moderate that. This is what happened is a group of workers got together and said, we need to protect ourselves and advocate for ourselves. That's what we're doing here. This is how it's always begun. And the reason we are able to do so much is because we are completely driven by our membership, by the sellers. When we need something done, no, we don't have a graphic designer on hire, but I've got like 10 volunteers who know how to make graphics that I grab and say, hey, does anyone have time to help me with this? And somebody's got an hour to help out. And that just, it lets us be so innovative. It lets us have so much, like we've said, like breadth of experience all combined together. And that's how we're able to get done what we get done is because it's driven by the membership. And when we need things, we draw from everybody, from thousands of people coming together, and we're able to use the resources of all their experience and connections. So I just wanted to make that final point.
Yeah, and so I really want to urge everyone to we can do things. What's already been accomplished is incredible. And the power that we do have in an age of social media, in an age of all of these different people coming together, is a power to be heard that you didn't necessarily have in the older days of unions. And the louder we talk, the more and more Etsy and other marketplaces are going to be pressed by journalists when they talk to them to say, hey, what are you doing with that Indie Sellers Guild? How are you communicating with your sellers? We've been hearing talk about there being problems in your community. And so we have a lot that we can do to change the narrative and make these platforms really sit up and pay attention. That's beyond kind of the old imaginaries of a strike where it's just, well, nobody sells anything. Okay, maybe we're not going to do that, but there's a lot. Etsy's brand is built on photos that sellers have taken. Etsy's brand is built on quotes that Etsy sellers have done, interviews that they've done with the platform. All of the objects, right, that are sold, all of the patterns that are drafted and sold come from members. And so nothing can move forward with Etsy, with any of these marketplaces, without this partnership. And so we have a lot more power than I think it seems like sometimes.